Your day is not over just yet.
Woohoo! USA! USA!
We have an action-packed hour for you 6 p.m. drivers.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
And that is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for July 1st, 2024. As Chris said earlier, he hates it when people say, "Can you believe it's already July?" I actually can't. Summer has gone fast. Baseball season has gone fast. Everything is going very, very fast right now. And the older I get, the faster it goes. And I think a lot of people out there probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm Matt Skraby. This is the Skraby Show, again on 97.3 The Fan. If you would like to watch us on YouTube or watch the show on YouTube, you can just go to YouTube, search 97.3 The Fan. Also, you can go to X 97.3 The Fan SD and Facebook 97.3 The Fan. Just make sure when you go to the YouTube to like the video. I've been trying to get better at telling people to do that because the more the video gets liked, the more people see it, which will help everybody involved. So if you go and watch it on the YouTube channel, make sure you go and like the video as well. We're going to talk about a ton tonight. Not really that much in the way of news tonight, so no hard-hitting news stories or anything like that, but we're going to go over some of the ancillary news of the day. Also, we're going to talk about where Jackson Merrill ranks in Padres history against rookies in franchise history. So I'm going to tell you how many home runs he needs, things like that. If he's going to be able to break any of these records. So we'll talk about that here tonight as well because, I mean, Jackson Merrill's awesome, number one. Number two, he's having such a great season. I think at this point it was worth me going through to see where he ranks against other Padre rookies in the history of the team. So we'll get into that. And then we have all those fun Bobby Bonilla Day payday deals. And Chris Davis is being paid a lot of money by the Orioles. We'll go through that. Also, Max Scherzer is being paid a lot of money by 3 different teams. So we'll go over that. And then we have the daily gripe at the end. But I'm going to start with my dog Lucky, and then we'll get into some baseball because I woke up this morning. Okay, so let me take it back a little bit. Before I went to bed last night, Lucky was in his bed, and I noticed on his little cheek, he had this like red spot. I'm like, oh, what the heck is that? And he was biting his paw. So I thought, all right, well, maybe one of his paws is bothering him, and he just got, he broke the nail, and it just got on his face. I'll clean it up in the morning or something. Well, I wake up this morning, and the spot is bigger on Lucky's face. So I look at it, and now he has no hair on the little spot that he had on his face. And so I put some... hopefully this is okay. I put some Neosporin on it because he was itching it like crazy. But my little baby, yes, my baby, who's only 2 years old, my doggy Lucky, has this spot on his face that has no hair anymore. And so I'm worried for him. And I'm worried about his beauty because now his face is all messed up. And I don't know what to do, but I actually do know what to do. I'm going to the vet tomorrow. But if anybody knows anything about these random spots on dogs that just are like random, not sore, I guess maybe sores, I don't know. He's a pretty healthy dog, so I don't know why he's got this going on with his face, but it's scaring me. And I just got a text message saying that the spot is doing better, but it's still there and it's looking more red. So I'm gonna have to go to the vet tomorrow and figure it out, and I'll let everybody know. Cactus Man says, tell Lucky like I tell my kids, don't worry, worst case, we chop it off, which is hilarious because I know that back in the day, that would have been told to me as well by my parents and grandparents and everybody else like that. I would tell my kids that as well. Thank you, Jax. Prayers up. Could be allergies. Oh, I didn't even think about that. He's not like acting like he's sick or anything like that, but it just was very shocking to see this thing on his face. And he must have rubbed something the wrong way because his face is looking a little weird. So I'll let everybody know what happens with Lucky when I take him to the vet tomorrow. But I feel bad for him. And now I don't know how you actual parents do it out there, because I make jokes and call Lucky my kid and all that, my son and things like that, my little baby, things like that. And I know that he's a dog. I know. But I can't imagine having a real kid and like going to see what's going on with the kid and then seeing like a kid have like a rash or something and be like, what the heck is this thing? And I know it'll be okay, but geez, it's kind of scary at the same time. Maybe this is one of the reasons that I will not be having kids, because I can't even handle when Lucky gets a little spot on his face. So, Carrie has a good idea. A spider or a bee sting. Okay. I actually thought about bee sting, but when he went to bed last night, it wasn't as big, so maybe he was scratching it all night. Succulents, some plants too. Dominic says 2 years and dog years is 14, teenage acne. That is true. That is true. All right, I'll stop talking about my dog Lucky, but thanks to everybody on the chat for giving me a little bit of suggestions. And Welsh Fryer says, wishing Lucky luck. Thank you, Welsh Fryer. Welsh Fryer, it's 2:05 or 2:06 now a.m. in England, UK area. And Welsh Fryer is here checking in. And he's coming to town actually pretty soon. So, Welsh Fryer, remind me when you come to town again, because you're going to be here for some Padres games. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, UK Padres fan that I have ever talked to. I have ever talked to on the app. All right. What was I going to do first? Oh, I want to talk about the Padres. The Padres went to Boston, and I can't remember who asked me last week, but someone on the chat asked me last week to predict the road trip. What's their record going to be? And I had a really hard time with this, because I thought the Red Sox were going to put up a little bit more of a fight, and they didn't at all. But the Padres win 2 of 3 from the Red Sox, which is what I did say. Now, I was also going to say that they went 2 of 3 they went 1 of 3 from the Rangers, but I just don't think that's going to happen right now. I think the Padres are playing too good. I think that they are finally rolling. I think that they are finally feeling like this team is being paid off for all the hard work that they've been putting in all year long. Manny Machado, it doesn't surprise me at all that the team is starting to come around with Manny Machado hitting 2 home runs on Saturday. Was that Saturday? I believe it was Saturday. But Manny Machado is back, and he's hitting very well right now. And so we get to look forward to that. And we talked about it in Fair or Foul earlier, but Fernando Tatis Jr. has been hurt during most of this recent streak. And there are some people out there who legitimately think that this is better off. They think that let me start this over. I don't actually see. This is what happens when I'm doing things on the radio and I'm reading something at the same time. I completely forgot. This is very embarrassing. I completely forgot where I was going with that. But I was trying to read one of my notes at the same time, and I forgot where I was going with it. But Padres right now, I think, are really trying to show that this season is far from over, number one, because there were a lot of people very, very concerned about this team leading into where we are right now. And I think if you were to tell the fans at the beginning of the year, hey, for the first 80 games, you're going to possibly struggle along the way. You're going to be 500 along the way. And I think a lot of people would have said, no, I do not want to take that. But if you're to tell them after the 80 games, they're going to start turning it on, then I think people would take that. Because although this season so far has been extremely frustrating, and we've seen the roller coaster of emotions that this season has put us through, I definitely feel like things are starting to ease into place. And I said before the year, this team does not have time to gel. This team does not have time to start slow. Well, A, they did start slow, and they're still in it. And B, they needed time to gel. It seems like they did. New manager, new coaches, new guys on the team. No more Juan Soto, Michael King, all those guys. All of the stuff that happened in the offseason. Apparently, they did need some time to gel. And so maybe going forward, I'm going to need to allow them the time to gel because I didn't allow them the time to gel. And it was a frustrating first half of the season, let me tell you. And it's still frustrating. I mean, not as of late, but it can easily return back to frustrating here shortly. Maria said, "Who would have thought Higgy?" True. If Kyle Higashioka can continue to hit like he's been hitting, honestly, I think having a guy like Kyle Higashioka in the lineup, if he's going to be doing, I don't expect him to hit the home runs. I just expect him to get on base, driving some guys here and there. But if he could contribute, that just is another feather in this team's hat. And I think I said it last Thursday that a catcher who can hit and hit well is a leg up on the rest of Major League Baseball because there's only a few catchers that are good hitters in baseball. I can think of two off the top of my head right now, and that would be, unfortunately, Will Smith. He's a pretty good hitting catcher. Also, is it William Contreras of the Brewers? I always get that confused, Wilson or William. But I would say that the Padres would be in a whole different world if these guys can continue hitting like they have this year. Because we didn't see it earlier this year. Jackson Merrill started great, still is great, but he's just gotten better here in the last 3 weeks. So if these guys can keep getting better, I think a lot more good things are on their way for the Padres. Brandon's giving me some catchers. Real Muto, yes, but he's hurt. And then Murphy, I think, from the Braves. He was hurt, too, for a little bit as well. So those two, Real Muto and Murphy, sure. But Kyle Higashioka has been one of the best hitting catchers in baseball this entire month. This wasn't like 3 games. This wasn't, a game. This was an entire month that Higashioka was hitting home runs for the Padres. And I keep thinking they're going to continue to come. So let's hope for Kyle Higashioka to hit more home runs, and let's hope for Jackson Merrill to hit more home runs. In the second segment, I'm going to tell you how many home runs he needs to tie and pass the franchise Padres record for rookies with home runs. But with all of that said, and with all of that jumbled around, and even though I forgot my spot in one of the places, we still have to do this.
It's time to get caught up on the latest with the news of the day.
Dan says the Padres bench players are much better this year, and that's a big difference. I mean, Donovan Solano, I will say it again, I was wrong about Donovan Solano. He has been very good for the Padres this year, and even more so, David Peralta is a good veteran, but he's not Donovan Solano right now, so I'd much rather see Donovan Solano be batting than anything. Captain DJ says, I'd rather see them make contact than no contact at all. And Solano and Wade especially. Merrill hitting 23 bombs this year, Cactus Man says. All right, we'll get to that in just a second. But the news of the day, we're just going to start with what we talked about during the show. And Nationals had James Wood make his debut tonight for the team. He was, if you remember, in the trade for Juan Soto and Josh Bell. He was a big part of that package that the Padres sent back to the Nationals. And James Wood was a guy that many people thought was going to be the next great hitter. And he still could be the next great hitter, but he is... Let's see what he's done tonight. I know he got a hit in his first at bat, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not passing along the wrong information on the rest of what he was doing. But right now the game is tied 3-3. But what I'm seeing here is James Wood may have been a great player for the Padres, but you see how long it took him to debut? It took him from when the Padres traded Juan Soto, for Juan Soto and Josh Bell. It took nearly 2 years for James Wood to make his debut. So even if he was on the team for the Padres, number one, where is he going to be playing right now? And number two, it still would have taken a lot of time for him to develop into a major leaguer that everybody thinks is going to be a power-hitting outfielder. So I say that it's okay to see all these guys in Washington and feel okay about it, knowing that you got Dylan Cease kind of out of it through trading Juan Soto back to the Yankees and getting Drew Thorpe, everything comes full circle. And James Wood right now is the topic of baseball because there's only 3 games happening right now. And if I can get to the live, he's 1 for 3 with a strikeout. So there you go. I've searched all of that, and I ended up being correct. The next news story that we have today is the Home Run Derby is making a change, and in the first round, they are not going to anymore be paired up against each other, but they're just going to all hit, and then the top 4 players from the first round will move on to the second round. They also have 3 minutes or 40 pitches now, just to try to keep some sort of time duration on it. And that will also apply to the third and final round too. They will still have a time limit, but it's less. It's like 2 minutes in some 2.5 minutes or 27 pitches is what the Home Run Derby is doing. Now I asked the guys about the Home Run Derby, which is better, the Home Run Derby or the dunk competition, and they said Home Run Derby, and I don't disagree with them. But I feel like the Home Run Derby might sort of start becoming an event that I'm not really interested in, depending on who they get. Because really, these type of events, like the Home Run Derby and like the dunk competition, they are all... the success of them is based upon who is going to join. And so when you're looking at the NBA, there's a lot of guys that I have no idea are even in the NBA that are in the dunk competition. And that's not exciting to me. But Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles, he has the second most homers in the league this year, tied with Shohei Ohtani behind Aaron Judge. He did enter the Home Run Derby. I know last year Adley Rutschman did too, and there's some other names. But really, the Home Run Derby to me, the reason I'll watch it is if they get names that I think are going to be entertaining. And so I'm going to keep my eye on everything. But I'm not saying that the Home Run Derby is a lock for me to watch. If they don't have guys that I'm familiar with and they don't have guys that are going to hit the ball a long way, I'm probably not going to watch. But we still have some time for them to round out that field. But Gunnar Henderson definitely is in for the Home Run Derby. Now, final news story of the day. It's kind of a potpourri of news, and it's Jason Tatum of the Celtics has agreed to a 5-year, $314 million extension with the Celtics, so that's kind of crazy. They win a title, he gets paid big. And then Klay Thompson, sources say, going from the Warriors to the Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, $50 million deal, which seems like a lot of money for a guy who's struggled in the last couple of years. A guy who's also been injured in the last couple of years as well. So it seems like a lot of money. Also, the Celtics, their ownership group is putting them up for sale 2 weeks after they win the finals. So I wonder if they got an offer or something that's huge and they want to see what's out there. But it seems like they're trying to sell at the right time. So the Celtics might have a new owner, but I don't really care about that, to be honest. All right, that's it for the news of the day. When we get back here on the Skraby Show, we're going to take roll call. We're also going to go over all of the different stats that Jackson Merrill, as a rookie, has a chance at reaching among Padres rookies in the past. So we'll go over that, and we still have a lot to go here on the Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan. Skraby back with you here in the Odyssey Palace, 97.3 The Fan. You can listen, if you would like, on the app. You can listen on the radio, 97.3, which is probably how you're listening right now, if you are listening to the radio, by tuning into 97.3. You could also watch the show on YouTube. If you go and search 97.3 The Fan on YouTube, you can find it. Facebook, and then X is 97.3 The Fan SD. All right. James Wood. We just got done talking about him. Right now, it's the bottom of the ninth in Washington. The Nats are up. It's 3-3. James Wood is the first player to hit in the inning, so he has a chance to walk it off with a home run here. He took a strike right down the middle. We'll keep an eye on this, and he just grounded to the pitcher. So let's see if they complete. Oh, he did not complete the play. The pitcher did not complete the play. James Wood's helmet goes everywhere, and now he's on second base. So what was a very routine play for the pitcher turned into a not-so-routine play. James Wood on second base with no outs right now in the bottom of the ninth. So we'll have to keep an eye on that now. I thought he was out. I really, really thought he was out. But that was a terrible throw by the pitcher. He needs to get like a Hassan Kim chin strap or something on his helmet, because I've watched this game and he's lost his helmet like 3 or 4 times in this game just from swinging the bat. He actually went back to try to get his helmet as he was running to second. Anyway, you'll see it later if you see highlights. But James Wood, a rookie. Jackson Merrill, a rookie. We'll talk about Jackson Merrill and where he ranks around Padres history here in just a second. But I did promise a roll call. And so if you want to know what a roll call is, you just need to go into the YouTube and just say hello. So YouTube 97.3 The Fan. We have Dan, we have Castro, we have Gonzo, we have Dominic, we have Trevor, we have M. McKee 23, we got Katie, we have, let's see, I need to go back up, Captain DJ, Welsh Fryer. We also have, I'm going all the way back up, Brandon is here. So I know I'm missing some people. I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone, but if Katrina is here, Jax is here. So if anyone wants to join the YouTube, you can. Just go 97.3 The Fan and search that. What's baseball really like? Join former Padre and MLB All-Star Brett Boone and his big league friends on his podcast, The Boone Podcast. 3 days a week, Brett talks with Hall of Famers, fellow All-Stars, friends, to get their take on today's game and to relive their greatest stories from when they played the game. Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Ken Griffey Jr., the list goes on and on. Follow the Boone Podcast in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. So when I woke up this morning, I was thinking, what do I want to do on the Skraby show tonight? What am I going to be... what do we want to talk about? There's not too much going on because they just, had a big series win over the Red Sox. We're going to be talking about that during the show. So I always like to do something where I can do like a report. And here is my report for the day, and it's Jackson Merrill, where he ranks in Padres rookie history. So I went through and I got some of the different stats that he could possibly reach here in his rookie season. And Jackson Merrill, keep in mind, has 84 games played so far this season. Now, the first one I looked at was home runs by a rookie, Padres rookie. And I was thinking before the year, he's not supposed to hit home runs. He's not going to get above 10. So why would I even think about this? Well, the reason I'm thinking about it now is because he's hit 12. And he continues to hit home runs in bunches. But the leader for franchise history as a rookie, Jed Jerko, 23 home runs back in 2013. Then he got Fernando in 2019 with 22 home runs. Ryan Schimpf, 20 home runs in 2016. Fran Mill, 16 home runs in 2018. Josh Barfield, 2006, 13 home runs. And then Jackson Merrill right there in the 6th spot with 12 home runs. Do I think that he could hit 11 more home runs and tie the record for rookie home runs for the Padres? Yes, I do. Do I think that he's actually going to do it? I'm not sure. 23 home runs is a ton of home runs. And I'm not really... I know he already has 12, but these have all come here in the last maybe 6 weeks. And so I'm thinking at some point this may slow down. And I'm not thinking he's going to get to 23. But if he can get to 18, That is a lot more than I thought. 15 would even be more than I thought. But I think he's probably going to finish in the 15 to 20 range, maybe closer to 15 to 18. I don't know. I mean, he is hitting the ball really well right now, but for the first part of the season, we were talking about him being a singles hitter, and all of a sudden we're seeing him with the power. So I hope the power can keep going, but I don't really think he's going to get to the 23 home runs this year. Now, hits as a rookie, there's two tied at the top, and the first would be Gene Richards, and then you have Ozzie Smith. As rookies, they had 152 hits in their rookie season. This year, Jackson Merrill right now so far is in 14th. He has 85 hits. He needs 67 more hits to tie. I think he can get there. He needs on average less than one a game. And I think this is the record that he could either tie or break, because with only 67 more hits, he has just over half the season to go, or just under half the season to go. He's been putting together 3-hit games left and right as of late, and I think that he could reach 152 hits or more. I mean, that's a lot of hits. Not many guys get that many hits throughout their career, like in a season. But Jackson Merrill's hitting the ball so well right now. He's getting on base so much. Why wouldn't we think that Jackson Merrill could do that? Welsh Fryer says, Merrill is so fun to watch. Jocelyn says, oh, hey, Jocelyn. Merrill is having the time of his life. He absolutely is having the time of his life. He's playing great at the major league level. And he's putting himself on a list of rookies like Roberto Alomar and Ozzie Smith and Gene Richards and Fernando Tatis Jr. John Kruk had 86 hits as a Padres rookie. Jackson Merrill's going to tie him with one more hit. So I think this is going to happen. If he continues to stay consistent with one, obviously he's going to go games without a hit, but if he can get one and then in back-to-back days get like go 3 for 3 twice, I think those hits will all add up in the end of the year. He'll be the record holder. Now, the batting average, Luis Salazar is the leader in batting average, and I did a qualifier for this. You had to have 150 at bats or more. So Luis Salazar did it in 1980. He hit 337 in 169 at bats in 44 games. Fernando hit 317 in 2019, his rookie year, in 84 games. John Kruk, there he is again, hit 309 in his rookie year in 122 games. You got Yasmani Grandal, who hit 297 in 60 games, and then Jackson Merrill is in 5th right now in Padres history with 294. He's hitting 294 right this moment. So do I think that he could hit 337 or better? Yes, I do, but this is going to be really difficult to keep up. I mean, hitting in general is just so hard across baseball. I'm going to rely on my fact-based brain to say that I don't know that he can hit 338 or more. That would lead the team easily if he were to hit 337, 338 or more. So it's looking great for him. I mean, he's hitting 294, but that record is way up there. Now, stolen bases, I know he's not going to catch this one, but I just want to bring it up because Gene Richards stole 56 bases in 1977. Jackson Merrill's only stolen 9 so far. So I don't think that he's going to catch the stolen base leader right now at 56 when he only has 9. He needs 45 stolen bases in about 80 games. Probably not going to happen. And then the last one I looked at was number of games played as a rookie, and he's played 84 so far, and the Padres have already played more than half. Ozzie Smith played 159 games, and so he's not going to catch him on this one because he's missed 4 this season already. Or the Padres have played 88 games so far, but he's already missed 4, so I don't think the math works out. He's not going to be able to meet the number of games played as a rookie. 159 games is a lot, but I think what Jackson Merrill has proven so far is that he is extremely durable and he can play every single day and he can play at a high level every single day. And he's playing a position he's never played before at a high level every single day. And McKee says, need Skeens to get rocked in a few games. Maybe Merrill will take care of it himself. You never know. You never know if Jackson Merrill could take out Paul Skeens. But the Padres do face the Pirates here coming up, so they may face Paul Skeens at some point. And I would like to see that too, because I've watched a few of his outings, and he's really exciting, gotta say. Throwing 102 in the 7th inning and just striking out guys left and right, that's pretty good. I can't hate on what Paul Skeens is bringing to the Pirates right now. But Jackson Merrill is doing his own thing. The only thing about Paul Skeens that I'm not a fan of is that he hasn't played the entire year. Like, Jackson Merrill is going to be putting together an entire year's worth of resume for Rookie of the Year or whatever it is that they're looking to award him with. Paul Skeens is a pitcher, yes, but he's going to make a lot less starts, and he didn't even start the year at the team. So I have a little bit of an issue with that. I have a little bit of an issue with the qualification because Paul Skeens maybe at the end of the year will have enough to qualify, but Jackson Merrill has been showing us since the beginning that he could do this at a high level. So there are the Padres records for rookies and where Jackson Merrill ranks with all of that. When we get back, I'm going to tell you about, JD Martinez hit a 3-run home run, it looks like. So Mets are up 6-3 in the top of the 10th. Hunter Harvey on the mound, not having a good couple games. He was the guy who gave it up against the Padres and Jurickson Profar's walk-off. Anyway, when we get back, I'm going to tell you something about the Chargers and what they may have to pay, and I think everybody's going to love this, and I don't know that they can actually afford it, so I'll explain that next. Plus, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and we are going to talk about some of those crazy deferred payment contracts that are out there. So stick with us. We'll be back here on the Skraby Show. Just make sure you go and hit the thumbs up in the YouTube if you search 97.3 The Fan, and you'll be able to watch the show and get in the community as well. So when we get back, the Chargers are going to pay, and I'm going to tell you how much and why on 97.3 The Fan.
Quinn and Chris.
Final segment here for the Skraby Show. 97.3 The Fan. The Padres are back in action in Texas against the Rangers for the next 3 days, starting tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the 4th of July on Thursday. I believe both of Tuesday and Wednesday's games start at 5:05 our time. 4:05 Sammy Levitt takes over before the game. And then on the 4th of July, I believe it starts at like 11:30 a.m. our time. So got a couple different game times. 4th of July on Thursday, so that's why it's in the middle of the day like that. And it's not very uncommon, but I do love 4th of July baseball. Love seeing 4th of July baseball because it just feels American to me. It just feels American to me. Lots of chat right now, or lots of people on the chat right now talking about the U.S. men's national team and them taking on Panama right this moment. And I said this last week, but I cannot I cannot get behind the U.S. men's national team if they're not going to even promote their team. Again, I knew that there was something going on tonight, but I am in sports radio. I look at a lot of different things, and I did not see one thing telling me that there is a game tonight. So I don't know why they're not promoting their team. But again, I said it last week, I cannot get behind the U.S. men's national team until they're good and until I'm aware of when their games are happening. So I guess Panama's winning right now, 1-0. Yeah, 1-0, I believe. But it's frustrating because I would get into that stuff. Like I said on Thursday, I'm a Team USA person. I love Team USA. I love cheering for the USA. But if I don't even know the USA is playing, then I'm in trouble. And that's exactly what happened with Team USA this time. All right, so the Chargers. I talked about them before the break. The Chargers are looking at a big-time bill being sent their way because the ESPN reported last week that the NFL lost a lawsuit, and it was the Sunday Ticket case, saying that an 8-person jury decided that the league violated antitrust laws, and they're supposed to make they were fined like $4 billion or something. Their penalty was $4 billion, but because of the actual laws, you triple that number. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So the NFL owes over $14 million, $14.39 billion to be exact. Now, since the NFL is not, it's a nonprofit, it doesn't really technically, it's not the leader of all the teams. All the teams are just, the NFL is just the overarching house that all the teams live in. And so the teams are going to have to pick up this bill. And when the Chargers see this bill, they probably already have seen this bill, I think they're going to throw up a little bit in their mouth because they're going to owe, each team is going to owe around $449.6 million for this lawsuit. Every team in the league is going to have to basically pay $450 million because the NFL is not going to be paying that on their own. It's the teams that keep it alive. I cannot imagine. I would love to be a fly in the wall. I really would love to be a fly in the wall when a team that's, how do I say it? A team that's actually very cheap is stuck with a bill that they have no idea how they're going to pay. Because I can't imagine that the Chargers have $450 million lying around right now. Can't imagine that at all. Junior says, so are you saying the Bolts are going to go bankrupt? Someone will buy the franchise, rebrand, and come back to SD under new ownership? No, that is not what I'm saying at all. Personally, I mean, I worked in Chargers radio. I loved when the Chargers were here. I loved going to games. I loved having an NFL team here. Unfortunately, I don't know that San Diego is going to be getting an NFL team in the next 10 to 20 years, if that, maybe even more. But do I think they're going to rebrand? No, they're not. And honestly, I would expect the NFL to help these teams out that are going to cry foul about it and say, I can't afford this bill. How are we going to operate when we owe $450 million? And then the NFL could say, hey, we waived your moving fee, Chargers. We waived it. I think they did. Pretty sure they did. But so that's what the Chargers are facing. $450 million bill. Not something, I actually got a bill for my surgery the other day, which I knew I was going to have to pay. But I didn't know exactly how much I was going to have to pay. And then I opened up the bill and I saw it and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot more than I thought it was going to be, which I'm not complaining. I mean, surgery costs money. But that's how I imagine the Chargers opening the bill. Just like, with the little letter opener. Just reading letters. You owe $450 million. And then Dean Spanos just cries into the piece of paper. So that's what's going on with the Chargers right this second. There was something else I wanted to tell you as well, and we will. Oh, by the way, Mets put it on the Nationals in the top of the 10th inning. They scored 6 runs, so it's 9-3 Mets right now. And there's no outs or anything like that, but it's definitely not looking good for the Nationals. I wanted to tell you about these different players that I'm going to call it Bobby Bonilla Day because July 1st is Bobby Bonilla Day. And that is where they are paying, the Mets have paid Bobby Bonilla like $1.19 million until 2035, I think it is. And so everybody has fun with this because, the Mets have to pay him the money and he gets the money. And I think it's a great idea if you're a player. I think doing this deferred payment thing is a great thing for young people who don't really know how to handle a lot of money. I think this is good for them because it will help them to stay afloat later on in life when they're retired and they're not making any money from baseball anymore. And it also would be very nice to get a check in my mailbox once a year for $1.19 million. So I could just, not do anything all year except for deposit that check, basically. But so Bobby Bonilla is kind of the face of the deferred payments. But now we have different faces of deferred payments because I hate to say it, Shohei Ohtani, deferred payment. He has the most deferred payments, $680 million in deferred payments when he's done with the team. So the Dodgers are going to have to pay that at some point. Freddie Freeman also gets $4 million from the Dodgers every year from 2028 to 2040. Rafael Devers, who we just saw, he's going to get paid from 2034 through 2043 from the Red Sox. Mookie, apparently he gets paid. Francisco Lindor, they say $5 on this article, but I'm not really sure. I think it might be $5 million from 2032 through 2041. Edwin Diaz, he's going to get paid from 2033 through 2042 by the Mets because the Mets signed him to a massive contract a few years ago. Nolan Arenado, he agreed to have some of his salary from his Rockies contract deferred when he did join the Cardinals. JT Realmuto is going to get some money from the franchise in 2026 and 2027. Also, one of the craziest ones, I didn't see this, but Chris Davis used to play for the Orioles, and he deferred his payments, in a big way. In 2022, he was paid $23 million for that year. And I'm just going to go make sure that he's not actually playing during that year because maybe that was his contract. No, he was not playing that year. So he gets paid that money, which is $23 million. He got paid that in 2022. 2023 through 2025, so he gets paid $9.16 million for those 3 seasons. Then 2026 through 2032, $3.5 million. Then 2033 through 2037, he gets paid $1.4 million per year, for a total of $65 million. I cannot believe that Chris Davis was getting paid that much money. I never really heard about this contract, but that is a very, very, very good schedule of payment for Chris Davis. $65 million over the next 15 years. That's a lot. Last one I have for you. Max Scherzer is receiving this from these 3 teams this year. $15 million from the Nationals, $30.8 million from the Mets, and $12.5 million from the Rangers. So let me do some quick math there. That's 45. He's making $57.8 million from 3 different teams this year. So I can't even imagine what it's like to have that money just rolling in at all times. That would be pretty crazy. Man, this hour has gone very fast. We are at the end of the show, and I've been thinking of my daily gripe all day long, and I'm not really sure what it is. I think I'm going to have to decide, though. Yes, I actually do have to decide because the show's ending.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Trev on the chat says, Dodgers contracts make me feel like they have a scout from the future who knows when World War III is, so their current payments don't really matter. That's a me thought right there, Trev. Ed McKee says, Daily Gripe. Dentists, a.k.a. pain merchants, paid $400 to be in pain the rest of the day, and I take excellent care of my teeth. I actually don't mind the dentist whatsoever, at all. No dentist minding. Okay. It's going to be my daily gripe is going to be a driving one because we just spent the weekend with a ton of traffic and everything, and I'm getting stressed out just thinking about it. But I don't understand why people have to get in your lane and go slow. So yesterday was driving on the freeway, and I was moving at a good pace, probably going like 70 miles an hour or something like that. And it doesn't fail that someone will just come up to you or, go past you real quick. And you're like, all right, whatever. But then they get in front of you and they speed up and they're going like 80 to get in front of you. And then as soon as they get in front of you, they slow down. This happened to me yesterday. I'm not happy about my response. I honked because it was kind of crazy that this person got into the fast lane and ended up going slower than the speed limit. But I honked like crazy. And there's my daily gripe. It's really annoying. I don't understand why you had to get in my lane. I don't understand it at all. So why do you have to get in my lane, sir? Just keep on moving in your lane. Everything's good. It's not my best daily gripe in the world, but it is one that I thought about over the weekend many times. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Gwen and Chris. Padres are back in action against the Rangers. Thanks to everybody who's been listening today. And thanks to everybody who joined me for the Skraby Show. I will be back with you tomorrow here on 97.3 The Fan.
San Diego, you're looking for